Boys and girls, welcome back. Hey, glad to be back. Tonight I've got some fun stuff in store, if this is the kind of fun that you're here for. First, I'm gonna crack a beer, because, man, it's been a long week. Has it ever? Holy cow. So I had a lot going on in the shop this week. It's been a rough one. It seems like every once in a while you'll run into...
We need to make you an intro one day.
We do need to make me an intro. I've got nothing happening just yet. I don't know. I thought, hey, I might as well just start putting content out rather than do a big build up to making the content. But yeah, we should work on the intro. But it's been one of those weeks. So this actually has been a couple of weeks. You know, I actually had to say to my boss the other day, am I reading this whole situation and am I doing something wrong here? Or is it just I'm having really bad luck? Because I just had job after job after job that just was not working. Just those frustrating jobs that everything kind of goes wrong with. You know, and we get it sometimes, but that many in a row is that is unprecedented. But you know, you hammer through it and you just try to make do with what you can. Yeah, holy cow. So I had a truck with a turbo, aftermarket turbo. We're putting it in because guy wants his turbo to whiz up every time he touches the gas pedal on his 5.9 Cummins, and they send the wrong turbo. They sent the right manifold, but they sent the wrong turbo. So, okay, put the turbo back on, kick it back out in the lot. Okay, another big ass truck. Another big truck. Let's get these control arms in it. Okay, he's got control arms the bushings are bagged. We got new bushings for it. Okay, roll it in. Pull the bushing out. The new ones are wrong. They were on back order for like a month and a half. Kick it out. Kick it out. Yeah, next thing, you know what I mean? It just seemed like we had a whole lot of those all in a row. But hey, it's not that bad. First world problems, right? I'm employed, I'm working, and I got a great job, great career. So I'm not complaining. I can't believe that many in a row. Nuts. So tonight I have a treat especial, and that's last week we did these switches. These are the Cherry MX switches that I got actually out of my HyperX keyboard, because I changed the switches in this for some Gateron switches that I got from Drop. Awesome switches, by the way. I'm really happy with this setup. But so when I took these ones out, these are linear switches, and I wasn't super keen on them because of how the spring weight felt. So last week I rebuilt them with new springs, heavier springs, even heavier than I have in the HyperX keyboard. And yeah, I'm gonna be putting these in this dirty, dusty keyboard. That is my work keyboard, and the reason why, can you hear that? Cherry MX Blue clickies. I don't want that anymore. So, yeah, this was like a pretty cheapy for a full size. So this is with the numpad and everything. Full size keyboard with virtually no bezel. Like, there is no bezel. It's just the base, floating key cap design, and wireless. That was the key. So it's got the little wireless dongle here. I brought it home so I can test it, just in case when I desolder these and solder the new ones on, I don't want to go back and have a dead key. That would be horrible. But basically, I got this for really cheap. I don't remember how much it cost me. It was, whoa, hey, look at that. It's doing a little light up thing. I don't know how I turned that on. I don't know how I'm going to turn it off. Oh, what? Oh, I'm going to have to find the instructions for this now. Oh. Oh, there it is. Function F12. I think. Nope. Oh, wow. That's going to be annoying. Anyway, turning it off for now. Because the... I never have the lights on. Because that just burns the battery, right? I use this for work. Because I have a laptop. And I hate typing on laptops. And I have to write out all my work orders in the computer. So better to do it on a nice mechanical keyboard. So the idea is to get rid of the Cherry MX Blues, at least on the face keys, at least on the the keys that I'm going to be typing on for writing out service work orders, and the numpad. Some of the other keys, if I don't have enough of the switches, I'll leave the F row or whatever, just the Cherry MX Blues, because it really doesn't matter to me. Like I said, it's more of a functional work piece. But yeah, this is the project for tonight. Get these guys into here, and we're gonna see how the LED setup works with these. Because weirdly enough, on this guy, the LEDs are actually not behind the switch, like on a lot of keyboards. They're actually through the switch. So it's easier to tell if I push one that's, or I show you one that's not lit up. So I have this one off. So you can see the LED is actually coming through the switch. So it goes through the switch and then into the PCB behind, which is an interesting way of doing it. So we'll see. We'll see how this one's set up, because typically the way they have it is they'll have a little cheapo LED actually on the PCB itself, and then the switch's body will be clear, and then the light will just shine through the body of the switch. So we'll see what design they went with on this. I'm gonna have a sip of my beer and enjoy this. So cheers, noob, to who's watching, and anyone else who's watching out there, cheers. Let's get into this. So what I'm working with here today is I have my desoldering iron. I like this thing a lot. It's interesting unit. I'll show you here how it works. So this end here, this is the business end, and it heats up. But it's got a hole in it, unlike most soldering irons, right? There's a little hole on the end, and it actually has a vacuum pump built into the body of it, and it sucks the solder up and into this chamber where it kind of cools off and hardens, solidifies, and then you can pull this chamber off, and your solder will be in there. This is all solder I had from my last project, so I'm just gonna throw that stuff away. But yeah, that was from the last keyboard when I was working on the HyperX. So yeah, it's just a spring-loaded little doohickey here, and you just try to get a good seal. If you don't get a good seal, I want to say it sucks, but it doesn't. That's the problem. You need it to suck. It's gotta do the thing, right? So I have it off right now because I didn't want it to be all hot when I did that. So just pluggy and get that thing warming up while we do the other steps. Now, what we're going to be doing here is disassembling this guy, and I'm not sure how to go about it just yet. I don't know the construction of this thing. We're just gonna figure it out as we go, sort of deal. Some of these units, they're made to not be taken apart, right? So you'll have a few screws here and there, and then they'll hide some other ones behind a sticker, and then they'll have glued the halves together and stuff like that. So I mean, like, they don't always want you in there doing this. By, I don't know, who's gonna warranty one of these things? Just cheapo thing from China, right? Anyway, yeah, it might be because they just don't want any rattling, because they'll probably get like returns or customers that are angry if there's a lot of rattling. I'm gonna try my best to keep these key caps in some semblance of order, because it's so much more of a hassle when you have to reorganize them afterwards. So what I'm gonna do is pop them all off, kind of stick them in.
Hey man,
Hey,
what you doing there?
my man. Who am I speaking with? Osmodius. What's happening, dude? I was just explaining, but I don't mind saying it again. I'm working on my keyboard from work. So this bad boy is the utmost, finest Chinesium alloy keyboard. It is cost me a whole lot of yuan back in the day. No, I picked this thing up for super cheap. It's got the Cherry MX Blues. I'm kind of tired of that. And I'd like to have a nicer key press experience with this guy. So the name of the game here today is Solder Desolder.
Are those Shea Brews?
Are they Shea Brews? Oh, Cherry Blues, yeah, they're brews, man. Oh, you gotta hear this. Oh, it's just like the worst ASMR right there. I don't know. I do tell people, like, if you like Cherry Blues, don't let anybody tell you that you're wrong. You know what I mean? I used to love them.
I like blues. That's what my KB has.
So you know what? Fair enough. And I'm gonna back off on people about the blues, because here's how I look at it. I look at it kind of like cars. When you're first into cars, what the hell kind of stabs are those? Oh, that's ugly. Oh my god. So these are the stabilizers, I guess, for the this is the backspace key. This is how the stabilizers engage. It's just a bar behind, and then this thing comes through, and okay. Whatevs. I guess we'll just go with that. Where was I? So I look at the Cherry Blues as kind of like, you know when people are first getting into cars and they want the noisiest.
Is there a way to get the feel of blues without the click? If I send you my keyboard, can you hook me up Clyde's custom keyboards?
There is a way to get the feel of blues without the click, and those are tactile switches. So basically there are three types in general of switches. I'm just gonna explain what I was explaining first. So it's kind of like when you first get into cars, and all you want to do is you want to get the car with the stupid loudest exhaust and just ruin everybody's day or everybody's morning every day in the neighborhood. That's kind of what blues are. They're loud, obnoxious. If you work in an office, like I could just imagine working in an office with somebody who's got blues and just being like, get out of here. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I am feeling very called out right now.
No. I'm not calling you out. If you like blues, good on you. You know what I mean? I got nothing I can say other than don't be like right next to me because it gets annoying, right? That's all I care. Like, I liked blues for a long time. This is why I have this keyboard. But for a long time I was like, okay, I like the tactile feel. I want to get away from the clicky loudness, and I want to get that tactile. So I tried out some tactile switches.
I don't want terribly loud pipes, but I do want my baby to have a voice.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. But I like the thock. You know what I mean? Like the thock sound, like the deeper sound of like a linear key. So this is an example of like what mine sound like.
I like thoughts too.
Yeah, you do. But so the thock, as they call it in the keyboard world, thock is that thick bottoming out sound of the keycap as it bottoms out on the switch. So the switch itself's not making any noise. It's just the bottoming out. So as the
to hit armor class 0.
Yeah. So as the key cap bottoms out inside, or like the switch comes to the bottom of its travel, the key cap itself actually makes contact at its base on the body of the switch, and that's what the sound is. And a lot of keyboard enthusiast people are really into that sound, not the click. But like I said, it's subjective, dude. It's up to you what you like at the end of the day. If you like the cello blues, go for it. It's all you. You know what I mean? I can't tell people they're wrong on a subjective thing. But yeah, it's just not what I'm into at the moment. Anyway, at least. It's funny. I'm doing this the hard way. I have the tool for the job. Why am I brutalizing my fingers? Because I'm a mechanic and I do that to myself all the time, even at work. But yeah, that's how that works. So yeah, if you like cherry blues, by all means. And you know, there's better options as well for clicky switches too. So like
I bought a KB cleaning kit last week. I am going to give my KB a clean up this weekend.
Oh, nice. It's a bit of work. Like, to be honest, it's a bit of work. So like, yeah, you gotta get in all the little spots. Take doing what I'm doing here. Remove the keys. Get it all lined up. Put all the stuff to the side. It's wide view. All the stuff off to the side. Get it all going. Ugh. And then yeah, I've got full size. So a keyboard clean, you probably just go down to this level. You clean each key, and then you'd just clean up the base. So that's pretty straightforward. It always feels good to have a nice clean keyboard. This thing is filthy. Like, no joke, man. This thing is just oof. Because it's in a dusty shop all day, every day. That's it. That's where it lives. That's its life. These somewhat of a semblance of organization here. There you go. Stay there. You like it there, don't you? But yeah, there are better options if you do really like the clicky switches. The cherry blues are just the ones that you commonly see. These are like a knockoff cherry blue. I don't think they're actually cherry brand switches, but they're they're like a cherry blue, you know? I think there's something written on there. I can't see it. I can't see it. I could get under the microscope later, have a look. But yeah, they're I think the kale blues are much better. And the click, it's not just a click jacket, apparently it's a click bar. So it's they're much more consistent throughout. So each key is very consistent. They don't have like you know, because cherry blues I find to be extremely inconsistent. You'll have ones that have like a real loud click, and then another one's kind of like just a mushy whatever. The tactile feel will be different across the keyboard. Yeah, that's the one thing that really pushed me away from the blues, was just the inconsistency of them. I like to have a nice consistent board. And that's part of why you take apart every switch and lubricate every switch. Try to do a consistent thing throughout. And then obviously keep it clean, because, oh damn. This one's going to be hard. And this is going to be the test. This is going to be like the ultimate test of how does it hold up. So far, I mean, it's not horrible, and it's been in a shop for a couple years, right? Like extreme service, extreme duty keyboard. Oh, I'm gonna have to scrub all these later. Ooh, not too bad, and somewhat of a order. All right. So that's done. We've gotten that far, right? Here we go. Keybs, and it's got this one. It has wireless, and it also has USB connectivity, which is cool. I like that it has those options. And the wireless is not Bluetooth, which I also prefer, because what is it, the wireless 5.1, it's so much faster. And it turns out to be a lot cheaper to buy those ones anyway. And when I say faster, I mean when it comes to latency. So from key press to when the computer actually registers that key press. So now what have we? We're looking for screws. We're looking for a way in. Let's hope they just left the front door open and it's not held together with adhesive all over the place, because that's a tragedy when that's the case. So I see we have a couple of different options. We've got a bunch of Phillips screws all over the joint here. I forgot my little tray, so you can still hear me while I go get that tray. But yeah, Phillips screws, and then it looks like there's some sort of Torx for the what looks to be some fascia screws, like some fancy pants, nice looking screws, right? The ones you can see with the keys in.
What's up? Man, I just got home.
Oh, what's happening? Rompus! Tonight, I'm working on my keyb. Got my keyb set up here. What I'm doing is I'm taking these key switches out of this keyboard, and I'm putting these boys in. That's what's happening. That's what's going on. These are the ones that last week I took apart, lubricated, changed the springs in. And this is my work keyboard. So this is the one that sees the most extreme duty. And holy cow, is it dirty. is really dirty, my man. Extremely. Insane. Hey, did anybody catch the video that I put out today? I put out a video. I felt kind of compelled to do so. So a friend of mine, Joe from Getting Junk Done, he put out a video talking about tools, and his main focus was the concern with whether the ownership of tools is like.
Dang, and didn't know you were an engineer as well.
I'm not an engineer. I'm one of those guys that swears at engineers all the time, a mechanic. But yeah, basically, he was raising the point that it looks like people are getting away from tool ownership and all that stuff. And in his video, so I wanted to leave a comment in the comment section, but he raised so many points that I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna like play it and have like a bunch of his points come up on the video, and then I'll just respond to it. So I just did a response video real quick. And
I didn't see the video, but I'll give it a watch.
yeah, give it a watch later. I thought it was good. It was a decent conversation, you know what I mean? Decent conversation amongst gentlemen. So here we go. These two screws, I don't know if they're actual screws, if they're actual fasteners, or if they're just some weird showboat fastener that's just gonna break off as soon as I try to turn it. You know what I mean? You get those sometimes. Drum roll, please. Is it just gonna break? No, it's actually a fastener. Look at that. Hey. It's actually a screw. Oh man, yeah. Getting them started is a little tricky. I might be camming out because I have the wrong size actually. Yeah, that one fits a little better. These weird fasteners that don't actually, like, the size above fits in it. Tolerances just aren't that great. Okay, that's all for those ones. That's all, folks. And then we've got a ton of these other guys. Little ones. The wee ones. And they're all over the board. By the way, how are you guys liking all the camera angles and all that stuff? That took a bit of time, and I made sure to set this all up so make a nicer viewing experience for when I'm working on stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing as well is working on these cameras, actually. So if you weren't here when I was talking about this before, there's a company called Kurokesu, and they're out of Europe, and they make enclosures for the Logitech cameras, the C920, C922. And the
camera's on point, looks good.
Thanks, man. Thanks. And when I hear that from you, I can take that as noteworthy. That is a compliment, Mr. Film Student, Mr. Graduate of the film schools. But yeah, so the Kurokesu enclosures are pretty cool because you take the guts out of the webcam and you put it in this new aluminum enclosure, and then you can use CCTV camera lenses on them. And that, yeah, just putting it through real glass. Awesome.
Lol.
Lol. And this is the part where you scan the keyboard and you look for screws that you missed, and then you move on, and then you start prying. You think it's glue holding it on, but it turns out you missed a screw, and you spent 15 minutes prying against the screw. And yeah, just hope you don't break anything, essentially. There's like these little guides here and here and here. Oh, there's a screw. Haha, see? Gotta overlook it many times. So these little guides, they're like little dummy fake you out screws. Not a screw, not a screw. Let's look again. Tell me in the comments if you see one that I missed. I'm not seeing any. Okay, kind of curious of how the stabilizers are sitting in there. Okay, so they got these things. And then these guys just click in. Huh. Okay. Now, question is, will the back just... Look at that! Haha! Hey! Woo! Not every day that just works out like that. Okay, do we have a plug? Do we have a nice little plug that to take the battery out so you don't have to be finicky? Or is it glued in? Will it just pull off to the side? Question is, are there any clips? I'm not seeing any clips. I want to just pull battery. Appears that one side is letting go. Yep, there we go. Woohoo. Okay, orientation. Noted. And I'm just going to give a little mark on the top. So I just made a little mark on there, so you can see. It just says top. Yay. So that's, yeah, nice. Got your little lithium battery and your little battery controller with the switch to go from USB to wireless. Nice. Wow. I really like how easy that was. Wow. I'll tell you what, HyperX was not that easy. I wish it was. HyperX, if you're watching, if you catch this in the future, stop gluing your stuff together with just random hodgepodge glue everywhere. Look at all this grossness. Wow, look at all that. That's what I swept off. Wow, I'm gonna clean this space before I move on. That's really bad. Let's get some of this off the bench. Gross. Yeah, that's what's all inside that keyboard. Okay, let's get a nice clean rag going on. Okay, cleaning up. Sprinkle from a distance. This is isopropyl alcohol. 70-30 split. So 70% isopropyl alcohol, 30% water. There is nothing living on this anymore. So don't worry, it's sanitized. There's no... Wow, and it... Wow, does it... Whew, potent. It's potent. Beautiful. Just gonna pull up the old activity. Boom, boom. So yeah, streaming on YouTube is a different game for me. It's a unique one, interesting. I'm enjoying it. Now, the interesting thing is that I don't think that there's like a directory on YouTube, so that you don't just have like directory of what do you call it?
Manand was looking for alcohol to clean my CPU and put new thermal past it. Took me months, damn COVID holders.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding. So you couldn't Oh my god, that's horrible. Oh man. I've had this bottle of isopropyl alcohol for, I mean, you can tell I've had it for a long time. But yeah, when COVID happened, I was using this because I couldn't get hand sanitizer anywhere. So I just rub my hands together. Hands were so dry forever for that whole time. But yeah, that's the thing. So that's funny.
Lucky lol.
Yeah, that is a bummer. If you just kind of trying to clean your CPU and your SOL. You know what? I'm not putting those there. I'm gonna put these down here because I want to get a solid count. I get a solid count of these. So here we go. Bam. All right. 10. 20. 30. 40. 50. 60. 70. 80. 87. Okay, so 87, that's a really odd number. I don't really need to have those out. Actually, no, I just needed a count. Oh, 86. 87. All right. So the plan is, because I have to economize. I have to economize where these switches are going. So I'm not gonna desolder switches from areas where I don't well, if I have to choose where I want cherry blues to still remain, I'm gonna choose the keys that I don't constantly use to type on, right? Another strategy that I was thinking of was to leave one on the caps lock. So I'm going to keep a cherry blue on the caps lock because I want to know if I accidentally press the caps lock. I do it all the time, accidentally press it. And if there's a cherry blue there, I'll definitely catch myself when that happens. So caps lock is going to remain. I use escape a lot. I don't use these. But, so how many do I have? I got... $20. 30. 40. 50. 60. So that's 60 on the face. I got 9. These are 10. And 12. 16. So that's 76. 76, 77, 8, 80. So basically everything but the F row. Yeah, that's it. And caps lock. That's what we're gonna do. So which one's caps again? Caps is this guy here. So I'm gonna mark it on the PCB side so I don't accidentally desolder that one. Just gonna put a black mark on there. This one's caps. That's caps. And then I'm gonna not desolder these guys. Leave all those guys in. And everything else is getting a change. Woohoo! So now we can get to it. And this is a fun tool. This thing makes a hell of a racket. So, oh, I'm looking now and I'm seeing some issues here already. So, an issue that can arise when you're doing this is basically if the tabs are bent down. This is what I want to get that other camera for, because I want to be able to do some macro stuff. Here, focus, you. That's just focus, would you? There you go. Okay, you see how the tab right there is bent? This guy right there, he's bent. So, and it's bent in the pool of solder, so that's gonna make things difficult because I need to bend it back and desolder it at the same time, which usually takes the use of a soldering iron at the same time. So normally you just use this guy, just the solder sucker, but sometimes you need to employ other tools. This guy is my Snap-on brand portable soldering iron. I love this thing. You flash it up, it's butane, so it's safe in a ventilated room, which this is. And yeah, just wait for it to heat up. And I think I'll be soldering all the joints with this. I have a soldering iron station, like I have a solder station with a hot air gun. But it's a bit of a mess around because I ordered one from Wish ages ago, and it's a it's one of those it's from China, so it's 240. It's 240 electrical, so I had to wire it up 240, so I have a special plug for it I have to run in because there's nothing else in this room that's 240. But yeah, so the my rework station, I have one, but it's just not the right dynamic, not the right application. For the North American application. So to fix this bent pin, what I'm going to do is I just heat up the solder while bending the pin. And hopefully straighten it out in the wet pool, not next to the solder. That's the idea. Hopefully this thing's warm enough. It doesn't take that long to heat up. You gotta put a little force on this, so. Yeah, see? Yeah, I got it. I hope I got it good enough. Let's see if there's any other bent ones. Yep, right away. Good job. Whatever factory that put this thing together. Bending pins. Oh, the heat transfer just sucks on this right now. Okay, let's clean this up. I've got some flux paste kicking around. Ooh, I'm gonna need this. Wicking braid is definitely an awesome thing to have when desoldering, especially. Oh boy, just rifling through this, not seeing what I need right off the bat. Here, I thought I came to the party prepared. Okay, I'm not seeing it. I think it's in another thing. But I can clean this up a different way. So just... yeah, heat transfer is just awful right now. So here's the thing about metal and metallurgy. So this applies to welding, it applies to soldering, it applies to brazing. Heat transfer requires contact. I mean, there is like radiant heat transfer, right? That's a thing. But typically, if you have a dirty surface, heat is not going to transfer well. And it's the reason why we use thermal paste on CPUs. Because just having contact alone is not enough to transfer that heat. And this tip is just... is it just not working out for me today? Oh no, it's working. There we go. Just be patient, Clyde. Just a little patience. Why don't you? Hey? Oh, here's another one. Another bent pin. Try that patience thing. See how that works out for me. There we go. That's working out just fine. Hey, patience. Patience. They say it's a virtue. Yeah. I need to get some more of that. I don't have a ton of it. More pens. More bent pins. Jeez. Who's the supervisor at this factory? Come on. Can you sleep at night taking my $25 for a keyboard? I think it was more than that. But jeez. Oh, okay, I'm warming up a little more now as well. Jeez, bent pins all over the map here. I swear, guys, we're gonna get into this pretty soon, but I'm just finding bent pin after bent pin. Alright, can you warm it up, please? There we go. Bent pin, bent pin. Another one! God. Hey Rompus, what were you saying? Do you feel like jumping in here tonight? Okay, I'm not gonna bother with those bent pins because that's not even a... Yeah, I'm not... Oh, another bent pin here. Wow, all over the place. How are these pins getting bent? I hope I didn't bend it just all the way the other way. Derp, derp, derp. Okay. I think I'm in the clear. Nope. Spacebar. Spacebar is bent. This is how I've developed my excellent posture. From routines like this. Something I've been trying to work on. Oh, even when I'm trying to slave over a board or something like that. Try to maintain decent posture. Brutal. Okay, I'm gonna close this guy off. Shut him down. Pow. And then we can get into the fun part, and that's desoldering the board. Which, hopefully we don't need this wicking. So this stuff is great. I love this stuff. And basically what it is it's a copper wire that's braided, and then there's flux in it. Focus, you. Come on. Come on. Do your thing. Focus. Can you really? Really just see that grid in the background and you're just like, nah.
That is slick.
It won't focus. Anyway, so it's braided copper line and there's flux in it. And what it does is you can put it on solder and it will basically just suck solder up when you heat it on solder. It wicks it in. It uses the capillary action. If you learned about that in science class. Yeah, the capillary action is an interesting one. Okay, so here we go. Wait for it to drop and suck it out. Put it on. Wait for it to drop. Give it a little second more and then boop. What that does is when you take those out, oh, go on the stand, don't turn on. Then we can turn it around.
Mint.
Mint. Oh, Natural Rebel. What's happening, my man? Which one did I just remove? Yeah, boom. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. You know? That's it. That's it. They come right out. Without all the hassle. So, it can be quite a hassle to heat up the solder and then use the little bulb sucker. And I've done it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because I still have one in here. Or actually I have a few different types. So these are a few different types. Right? So this guy right here was the thing that I thought was a godsend after having used this kind of guy. So basically you heat up the solder and then you just suck it up, right? The problem is you're juggling the heat and then putting this on, right? Heat and then putting this on. And the same thing with this guy. This guy is a spring-loaded version of the same thing. So it's just got that little spring in it, and there's a plunger inside, and then you hit the spring. Whoop, just sucks the stuff out. But the thing is, it's cooling it as it's sucking it, right? So and you're not applying the heat and sucking at the same time. So that's why the solder sucker is great, because the sucker is the iron, which is just fantastic. You just cannot go wrong with that. So yeah, just put it on right on the tail there. Give it enough time to heat up, and then suck the solder out. Boom. Boom. Bob's your auntie. Hey, there's a jelly blue. If Osmodius is still in the chat, maybe I should send him all these. I heard you like cherry blues. Yo, dog. We should do a Pimp My Ride with Oz's Challenger. Yo, dog, I heard you like cherry blue keyboards. So you put keyboards on your keyboards in your car. Who remembers that show? Oh my god. I actually remember that. I remember the hype around it too. So many people. Oh my god, this show is great. I want somebody to pimp my ride. I say stay away from my ride. Yo, dog, I heard you love fish bowls. So you turned your car into an aquarium. Like, no! Don't do it! No! Yo, dog, I heard you like hippies. So you turned your car into a homeless shelter. I'm so happy I got this thing, man. This is, oh my god. It's quite an investment though, for, you know, if all you ever do is keybs. If all you're ever doing is keyboards, you gotta do a lot of keyboards to make this one worthwhile. But luckily I like the electronics hobby, so that's a good thing. And there's always cases where you get like a little electronics project and you know you put a diode on the wrong way, or your capacitor, or LED, something, and you blow it and you gotta remove it from the board. You want to be as neat and clean as possible, right? I'm tempted though to get my rework station out for actually soldering the new switches on, because it solders so much nicer. Maintains the heat better than the little portable unit. Okay, that's a bunch of them. Let's pick some of these boys off. Oop. There we go. They don't all come first go. Sometimes you get a snag. Oh, that that one I didn't. I'm not desoldering that one. That is the caps lock, and I choose to keep the cherry blue on the caps lock. Oh yeah, that's still on there. Oh yeah, that's right. I was gonna go in there. That's right. I forgot about that. Make sure that I give myself a presence on the Discord server. By the way, if you're not part of the Discord server, what are you doing? Get yourself in there. It's a beautiful place with beautiful people. We got a nice little community going on, and we'd love you to join and be part of our community. We're all a bunch of like-minded people that are into similar kind of things, hobbies, and good stuff, and we'd love to have you. Come on down. You are the next contestant. I miss Bob Barker. Oh, I missed one with the soldering iron. Oh well, we'll get there. We'll get there. This is going swimmingly, actually. It's not too bad. And honestly, not gonna lie, I like doing little projects like this. For some people, this is probably super tedious, and they would not want to do this. But it's enjoyable to just chill back, have a cold one, which ends up turning into a warm one because you're working on something like this. But chill back, enjoy it. Enjoy your time with it. I'm just curious at how annoying this soldering iron sound is for people viewing. It might be obnoxious. Oh, so yeah, I was gonna say something about YouTube. The interesting thing about live streaming on YouTube now is there doesn't seem to be a directory, and people aren't really browsing live streams. So the people that come in are genuinely like just part of the community sort of thing. Excuse me. You don't seem to get like just randos coming in. But they are talking about changing the game. Because the whole YouTube gaming thing. We'll see how that goes, because I'm not in the gaming category. And I actually prefer the just chatting type category anyway. It's just Twitch. If you go to Twitch and just chatting, I mean, that's just where boobs go. that's the thought den. It's just gotten flooded with that. It's cam girls, you know. To the point where I can't recommend my friends to go to that website that don't know about live streaming culture and stuff. No thanks. So I'm gonna stick to YouTube. And if people want to hang out, come hang out. But yeah, it'll be mostly people who are subscribed to the channel or have watched it recently. Like actual
Have you
videos.
seen Dr. Disrespect's new rage? He smashed his chair LMAO.
Did he really? That's pretty funny actually. What did he rage over? Somebody sniping him, stream sniping. That's a thing with the dog though, right?
Aim assist LMAO.
Well, he plays all the games with cheaters, you know what I mean? Like, I love Doc's content, but I hate the games he plays. If that makes sense. Like, Doc's creativity is just off the chains. I love it. But I can't play Call of Duty. I say that, but I play Call of Duty every once in a while. But like, what a toxic game. And there's just like tons of cheaters. I don't like playing with cheaters. I got this thing about cheating. It just drives me up the wall. Like, I don't care about people who game genie their single player games. Like, by all means, go for it. Whatever. It's your game. Enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. That's fine. But when you're playing a multiplayer online game, excuse me. When you're playing a multiplayer online game, you're playing with other people who either purchase the game or are playing for free or whatever. For everything comes at a price, so they're paying the price. But they're playing this game with you, and if you're cheating, you're ruining their experience. So that's the worst. I can't stand people that do that. Oh, I'm about to lose my mic or my headphones. Just bear with me for a second. I'm just gonna change these over. Oh, okay, I'm back. But yeah. Aim assist. So are you talking about aim assist that's actually like the cheating aim assist? Or did I just go on a rant for no reason? Because that's just like aim assist that comes with the controllers. Because I guess when you play with a controller, you aim and then it kind of brings you close to where a baddie is or something, or the nearest baddie to your reticle. Is that which one was he? Because that's kind of lame too. I don't know. I never play with controller, so I don't know if it's any good. If it makes you better. Okay, so I've got this strategy now, because I'm not really going to be messing with the stabilizers. I'm not going to mess with the stabs. Because...
Just the stock controller type gig, but you're right though, FR.
Oh. Yeah. I'm right when it comes to the cheating part. But yeah, so I could see people getting annoyed with the controller players. So from what I understand, like it used to be where like PCs couldn't play against console players, and it was because there's like advantages to the different things, and they didn't want people complaining like, oh, they're cheating because they did this or whatever, right? But yeah. It's a tough one. Tough one. Because, yeah, I'm not a controller player, so I don't know how much of an advantage you get. And I'm definitely not, like, Dr. Disrespect level when it comes to FPS games. I saw you got that no scope to the guy in the helicopter a couple weeks ago. That was insane. That was a good one for the highlight reel. Okay, what are we doing here? Why is that not coming through? I'm having an issue with this one. I'll have to come back to that. What? Okay, am I just having an issue with this switch? What's going on here? Okay, I'm gonna come back to that switch. Was I trying to put it? No, I wasn't trying to put it in upside down. No. I'm an idiot, but I'm not a total idiot.
Do you build and sell keyboards?
I don't. No, I do this as a just personal hobby thing. I think the market's kind of flooded with people who actually do that. It's there's people, so the same people that do that are the same people who like have bots that do buying on websites. So the way the keyboard hobby works is it's pretty niche. And because it's pretty niche, but there's like really high demand for a low supply, or low but diverse supply. It's kind of hard to explain. So there's just high demand for a lot of different small batch manufacturers that make stuff. Because everybody wants custom, you don't get, like, big production mills don't get popular. So you're not going to get a lot of popularity in a product like, say you have keycaps or switches or something that you just bang out in huge giant production runs. The keyboard community kind of looks at that and goes, oh, it's like Walmart, you know what I mean? Even if it was like totally good, you probably get a lot of people just like shrugging at it and not buying. So people buy in these small batches and they come out in group buys on these websites. And you basically gotta be there when it happens. Like you gotta be online and waiting, because stuff will sell out in minutes. And keyboard building is like the waiting game. And there's a bit of snobbery involved and stuff, but it's an interesting, very interesting hobby. But yeah, if I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I might end up like building stuff and then wanting to sell it off, but I really like keeping the keyboards that I build. Oh my god, these switches just feel so good. And then trash. I gotta have that one trash one just as like a testament to how much I hate caps lock. Why is it there? Caps lock should be in the F row. I never use caps lock. I don't rage on.
Makes sense. Looks like fun though, for sure.
It is a fun hobby. So it's not the only thing. Like, this is kind of my entry level getting into electronics. That's kind of how I first got into it. But basically, keyboards are one of the peripherals for your interface with computers, right? So if you spend a lot of time on a computer, just like being a mechanic, so I'm a mechanic. If I'm spending a lot of time working on cars, I want to have really nice tools, especially the hand tools, the ones you got to move by hand and stuff. I want to have really nice ones because I want it to feel good. I want it to, I want to put a little bit of my own preference into all of this stuff. And then, you have guys that put a little flash into their toolboxes and stuff like that. It falls along the same lines as that. And, if you spend a lot of time on your computer, you want the things that you interface with to be as comfortable and nice and then stylized towards your liking as much as you possibly can. And that's kind of how it goes. I really like to get into customizing mouses. How would you call that? Computer mouses. Are they still mice? I'm gonna say mice. But yeah, I'd like to get into that because it's made of switches, and some of them are standardized, and some of the stuff. So it's when things get standardized is when you can have some real fun with it. If it's too ground up custom, then it's difficult because outsourcing parts is very, very difficult for certain things. I'm just gonna let that warm up for a second here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this in patches, because excuse me, I'm drinking the beers. I got the burps. I'm gonna do this in patches because I don't really feel like doing any work to the stabilizers. Now, the stabilizers are things that are on some of the parts of the board, right? So, for example, you have a stabilizer bar that goes between the space bar, because you only have one switch in the middle on your space bar. And then you have stabilizers on your enter and your shift keys, and then on your backspace key, and then over here on your enter, plus, enter, and 0 stabilizers. And basically just make it so that the side of it doesn't wobble, and it forces it. It's kind of like, picture it like a sway bar on a car. It's a bar that runs from side to side, and it makes sure that both wheels go in and out, and if there's any torsion, it limits the torsion side to side. That's kind of what they work. But I don't want to take them apart and have them fall all over the place. So I'm just going to do this in blocks. So I'm going to do like a block of switches, solder them on, and then desolder the next block, and then move on like that in little blocks. That way I don't have to take the whole board apart, because essentially I can't take the whole board apart because I'm going to be keeping the caps lock and the F-row. Cherry MX Blues, just because of a shortage of keys, or shortage of switches. I don't have enough for an entire full-size keyboard, unfortunately. I'm kind of curious now. You got talking about the dock, on what kind of peripherals he uses, because you know, like he says in he's got his sponsors or whatever, right? So he's like, oh yeah, I use this, but I doubt that, right? How well is this soldering iron gonna work? Am I gonna have to just bite the bullet and switch? Oh, it's not heating the pad very quickly. Oh.
I think he uses Rocat. He has his own keyboard with the whole violence, speed and momentum keys and everything, lol.
Yeah, do you think he actually uses that board though? That's what I'm talking about. So like, getting a signature keyboard is like one of those things where it's like getting signature shoes. Doesn't mean you're actually gonna wear them. Maybe they suck, you know. So that's what's got me curious. Does he actually use it? He may though. Who knows? Sometimes it's shocking what people use actually.
True, haha.
This is actually going pretty good. Takes a second to heat up. I mean, it doesn't run as hot as I'd like it to, but like when I'm soldering, I usually like to run hot and quick. I don't spend a lot of time on the pad. Hope you guys are seeing that okay. I'll switch views. So yeah, just basically take a little bit of heat to the pad. If you get a little solder between your iron and the pad, what'll happen is you develop a little bit better heat transfer than just touching the pad with the soldering iron just by itself. And then that just speeds up the process of warming up the pad. And the last thing I want to do is bridge a pad. That's not my goal here. Come on. Why are you being like that? There we go. So we have
Are you going for a Pabst Blue Ribbon theme? Looks mint.
a Pabst Blue Ribbon theme. Oh my god, I didn't think of that. That's funny. Holy cow. I should call up Kim and say, let's do a Pabst Blue Ribbon keyboard. She would. It was funny because she contacted me the other day and she was like, "Whoa, it's been forever. We haven't chatted." She's like, "Let me know if you ever want to do anything. We'll hook you up." Like, all right. Maybe I should yeah, maybe do a limited run of Pabst Blue Ribbon keyboards, custom keyboards. Talk to them about that.
That would be sick.
Right? I like that. Okay, so that is a big ugly blob of solder on that. Sorry, I just touched the mic. So this is where the wick comes in handy. Where are me snips? Where are me snips? Here we go. So you got yourself a big old blob. You could just use your solder sucker probably, but might as well see what's up with this. You got a big old blobby solder joint. Just take your wick. And just put it between the iron and the solder joint. And hope your iron gets hot enough. Wow. This iron just does not get hot enough at the tip. Kind of disappointed with that. So yeah, then it just soaks it up. Please focus, camera. Do your thing, camera. Focus. Wow, autofocus. Do your job. Yeah. Anyway, it sucked it up. It's on there. And you can just keep using it until it's all full of solder. Kind of not happy with the way this iron is working though.
Speaking of solder seal connectors work meant for electrical work. Use the putting in a stereo connections are perfect to test so.
Solder seal? Are they, like, do you actually have to solder them, or are they the, like, auto solder things? Because I've seen some of those auto soldering doohickeys, and I always wondered if they were any good. It's like a butt connector that goes together, and then you just heat it up from the outside to heat shrink it, and then the solder melts in the middle. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Okay, so it's kind of, yeah, some of the joints are going quick and easy, but then maybe I'm just not cleaning the tip enough. Gotta keep your tip clean, Johnny. Keep your tip clean.
Yay, the one with solder in the middle and it crimps on both ends with a heat gun, all weatherproof.
Oh, okay, yeah, so it is kind of the one I'm thinking of. I always wondered how they actually worked, if they were good. That's awesome. Good to hear. I wonder if I'll end up seeing that in the automotive applications. 'Cause it's so funny. I worked at the dealership for a bit, right? I had to quit there because it's just like such an unethical venture. I couldn't stick around. But it was funny because the dealership, they know that their technicians are doughheads, right? So they create these like fail safes and stuff for when they just do shit work. So, pardon my French. They just do bad work, right? So they had this thing where they insisted that any solder joints had to have this like little sleeve, this little metal sleeve put on and then butt connected, like crimped, and then you heat that with a soldering iron and then wick the solder into the joint. But it has to be like crimped first. I've never done solder joints like that before, but I could see that like if you have a whole fleet of mechanic doughheads that just don't know how to do their job, and soldering is part of your job if you're a mechanic. You need to know how to do it. Yeah, they just don't trust them. So like, okay, do it this way, because even if you suck, it'll still hold. I almost need to make one of those clickbaity "why I quit the dealership" videos. Seems like that's the thing to do on YouTube, is just clickbaity everything. I'm going for the chill long haul now, you know, when it comes to content creation. It's hard to stress myself out when I have, I got a wife, 2 kids now. I've had a wife for 15 years. I had a daughter for 7, but now I got a son as well. But yeah, Rose, my daughter, she's 7. She wants to spend a lot of time with me, so I can't do what I used to do, spend so many hours on content creation. So yeah, expect this channel to be pretty chill. But I do want to do some commentary videos and stuff, especially about my profession, because I have some funny inside insights that I think, because mechanic channels are always geared around for mechanics, right? And yeah, so it's always just car guys and mechanics that watch mechanic channels. I kind of want to have like some mechanic content, but that's for lay people, like not car people. Not, I mean, not that if you're into cars you're not gonna like it, but like for, yeah, just for a different kind of genre of it. I think it'd be fun. And then obviously I have other hobbies and stuff. I'm no one-trick pony, you hear me? That's not how I operate. Hey, look at that. Those are all soldered on there beautifully. Dude, I am not gonna lie. This job is working out a lot smoother than the HyperX job. The HyperX job was a pain. It was absolute pain. So, in the HyperX job, just the amount of glue that they had to put that thing together. Ugh. Yeah, not happy with that. I really like manufacturers that make stuff that you can work on, that you can actually do repairs to. That's, you know, and not that all things that are glued together aren't repairable. Because, I mean, clearly there are a lot of things that are glued together that you can buy the replacement glue strips and stuff. But that HyperX keyboard, it wasn't like a nice neat glue gasket. It was like it's awful. This is epoxy. It was not meant to come apart after the original assembly, which is just unfortunate. Saddens me. That's gonna be so funny to hit that caps lock and know right away, oh, I hit the caps lock, is gonna be shouting. All caps. Ooh. My beer's starting to get warm. Yeah, drink it faster and get another cold one. Okay, moving on. We're gonna do another block of these. Get some more done. I'm gonna maybe make a line and then work backwards. Oh, of course. I got to one where there's a bent pin. Let's see if I can get it with a solder sucker. Bend that pin back. Oh, what? Oh, gorgeous. Look at that. That worked. I'm actually so happy about buying this thing. Chill. Oh, yeah, you gotta wait. Tried hitting it right away. So one thing I'm curious about though is like, because this channel, I've been getting steady subscribers on it for a good chunk of time, just based on old videos that I have. And I wonder if any of those subscribers get notified about these live streams. Like, the way it works is people get notified when you go live if they've been watching the content recently, you know what I mean? So I wonder how many like old subs even know about it. Interesting. But I'm looking forward to doing some collaborative projects and stuff too. That's another thing. So my good friend Chris is just making the move over to YouTube from Twitch. He quit streaming on Twitch basically. Or he's in the process of making the move. Because he's still got an audience and he wants to bring them over as much as possible, right? And then my buddy Rompus, he streams here on YouTube. I want to do some collaborations with these guys. It'll be a lot of fun. I gotta fix that posture. Oh, it's just back gets sore when you're just leaning over like that. It's hard to avoid it though. Like you just get in the zone and you just like arch over. But try not to do it. Yeah, sorry about the noise. This is probably gotta be the more annoying part of the whole watching this build. Almost there. One more. One more switch after this one. 2 more contacts. Alright. Hopefully they all come off cleanly. Start here. Boop, 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 boop. Jagged edge. Boop. 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 That's her. See if they all come off nice. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gorgeous. Beautiful. Love you. You're the best. Good job. Thanks for coming. Sweetheart. Lovely. Dozo yoroshiku. Onegaishimasu. Gochiku kudasai. Thus. Nice. Perfect. Oh wow, some of the dust even got into in onto the PCB from the shop. Wow, there's dust right down in there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Eh boy. Man. That's a dusty bugger. It's going along nice though. I like it. I like it. I'm feeling pretty satisfied with this so far as a project. Lovely, lovely. This is the first time I ever noticed that. It says on the Asahi, Karakuchi. Because it's Asahi super dry. So it gives you the karakuchi. Kuchi being your mouth. Kara, I'm thinking like karai, like kind of a spice from the dry, maybe karakuchi. Focus, come on over. Hey. Whoa, hey, come on over. Oh man, the autofocus on these things is not the greatest. That's your focal range. Okay, come on back. You know what I need to do? I need to flash up Logitech Capture. I'll show you what's going on here. So Logitech's funny because they have, you know, decent firmware with their webcams, but really wish. Oh wow, I'm seeing 7 likes on the live stream. Thank you, boys. Thank you, boys and girls. But yeah, Logitech's firmware is great, except that it doesn't save any settings. I wish there was some flash memory or something in it, so you could just like save your settings into the firmware, because it's annoying that you have certain settings on it, on your particular webcams. I know it says camera not available because it's being used by OBS right now, but yeah, particular settings, and when you want them to be in the camera again, you have to flash up the software every time and then close it, and then it remembers. And then the focus range is okay again. But yeah, that's how that works. What time have we got? I'm trying not to run too late with this stream tonight.
Is it easy to add LEDs to the keyboards, or is that a whole nother ballpark?
So this is an interesting thing, right? And hopefully I can show you with the soldering, or sorry, with the PCB exposed now. So if you look here, there's a few different holes in the base where the PCB is. And let's get closer still. So there's 2 ones with the holes. That's what the switch goes through, and that's where I solder the switch. If you see this little guy down here, that's the LED. That's the shine through LED. Now, this particular keyboard, the PCB only has 2 circuits running to it. Sorry, 1 circuit running to it, so 2 little wired leads. And that's for just 1 color. So these only shine white on this particular PCB. You look on the back side, you can kind of see the leads if it focuses. It just struggles so hard. There we go. So these are your resistors. So this gives the resistance that tells the computer how much of a value, voltage or whatever, it's getting to know what key press has been pressed. But oh, I don't see the leads. I don't see the leads. It must be a third layer, another layer for the LEDs, unless the LEDs are. Oh no, LEDs are on the front panel, so you can't even see the wires, the wire traces. Oops. Oh, I had perfect focus too, and I ruined it. Focus, you. But yeah, anyway, these little guys, these little yellow and white guys, those are the LEDs. Now, if you have RGB, they call it RGB, red, green, blue LEDs. They actually have four wires going to them, so it'd be a common ground, and then three power circuits. So it'd be red, green, blue, and then whatever combination of red, green, and blue will go to that LED, and it'll light them up, and you get all the different hues and colors and saturation. And I think if they're dimmable, that might be varied voltage, pulse width modulated. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they do that. I want to get more into figuring out how they run that sort of operation. But yeah, that's how the LEDs on this keyboard work. I don't ever use the LEDs on this. This is my work keyboard, so it really doesn't matter to me, the LED thing. But my other keyboard, I wanted the LEDs to work, and the LEDs work in a different function on the other one. They're not on the PCB itself. They have legs. And they're RGB, and they have those 4 legs. And the 4 legs actually go through the bottom of the switch. You'll see this. You see how there's like 4 little holes at the top of the switch? So if you flip the switch over, there's like this blank out space. It's like dead space, right? And that's for the LED module to go in. So there's this little, a little LED that pops in, and the 4 legs go all the way through and then solder to the PCB. And that's how the switches are on my, I'll switch cams here, on my HyperX keyboard. So this way I can custom set which lights I want on, how bright they are, what color they are, all that stuff. So I just made it so a select few lights are on. I chose some blue ones, and then red for the keycap that's already red. It just glows red behind it. But if let's pull a key that's not lit up. Okay. So if you get real close here, see, this camera's way better at autofocusing. It's not a webcam. So if you look really close, you'll see that little module is in there. And that's the LED, and it has 4 little legs that goes all the way down into the PCB, and they're soldered on individually, those little guys. So that's the other strategy. Personally, I think if you want like bright lit keys and all of that stuff, that style will light up brighter because it doesn't have to shine through the switch. I think if you have all fully clear switches, the ones that are soldered to the PCB will actually, I think they'll more evenly light everything because it disperses through the switch. So like it's kind of like having a softbox, which you see back here. That's a softbox over there. That makes a nice solid flat light that diffuses nicely over a larger surface. Yeah, I love I love figuring out these little different things about like circuitry and stuff. How LEDs work and... Because LEDs, I mean, it's in the name, LED, light emitting diode. So diode is basically a one-way valve for electricity, right? But they found if they use a particular type of crystal, the crystal oscillates in a way, or it gets excited in a way that actually emits light. And they're like, wow, that's interesting. Look at that. So you can only power them in one direction, and it's only with DC voltage. And you can't have AC going into them. But yeah, super cool. So I was thinking about doing some streams at different times as well. This is kind of an interesting concept. Sometimes, especially if it's just a rainy day on a weekend, I just got my daughter Rose her own PC, and it's in here. I wonder if I can show you without mucking up the camera too bad. The position of it. If you look just next here, you'll see a keypad, or there's a keyboard, mouse pad, and all that stuff. And there's a monitor right there. Nice 24-inch monitor, and a PC under the desk. So that's my daughter's own PC that I've set up for her. And we just got Minecraft going on it, and she loves Minecraft. And we were playing Splitgate, surprisingly, for a 7-year-old. She loves it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like a lot of my streams are gonna be late night, where the kids are already in bed. But I might do the occasional rainy day where either we're both doing some gaming together. Oh, that's not good. Let's fix that. Either we're both doing some gaming together, or she's doing some gaming and I'm working on a project. That sort of dynamic. I'm gonna put that one off to the side and just see if it's just the switch. It wasn't sitting very nice. Oh no, it's actually just the... No, switch is fine.
Is that the same deal with LED headlights in a car, the one-way valve with electricity?
Yes. So anything that's labeled a diode has one direction that it can be plugged in. So diode. Hey, convenient. I have this little thing. So a diode in a diagram looks like this, right? And that's the symbol for a diode. And you can always kind of look at it as if there's a direction, right? It's like a directive arrow. And then there's a stopper, so it can't go back. That's just kind of the thing. So the flow of electrons always goes this way. So you're going... people will argue with you all day over this. But, so electrons actually flow from negative to positive. Yeah, that's weird. But we always look at it in the way that they go from positive to ground. So just, that's a rule of thumb. It's not actually how they behave, but this is how we perceive it, right? And what happens is, if you have an alternating current trying to go through here, when it goes back this way, an alternating current actually is going this way, but then it's also coming back that way, right? And then when it goes through a diode, it goes through, it manages to go through, but then when it gets back this way, it just gets stopped. So then it ends up going back the other way. So, like, alternator in a car will have a diode bank that rectifies. It's called a rectifier, but it's a series of 4 diodes put together. If I might be getting a little bit too much into it now, but you have your diodes here, 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 and here, and then it comes out as DC. Anyway, light emitting diode is essentially the same concept. It's a diode, but it illuminates, right? So sometimes you'll see a symbol like that. But yeah, you have to power it one way, because if you power it the other way, it won't work. And sometimes, depends on how much current you're putting through it, it could break it. So, but yeah, the LED headlights and stuff, they have an orientation for how you plug it in, which side is the power and which side is the ground. Works the same way. This thing is so handy. I had this on my fridge the other day, and I was like, I'm gonna throw this in here, and maybe if I have to explain something while I'm streaming. There we go. It's beautiful. So yeah, if you have electrical questions, that thing is great for explanations. I just hope you got the gist of what I was actually saying there. Because sometimes grasping it can be difficult. But there's always this like moment though, you know, like when you don't get it, you don't get it, you don't get it, you don't get it. I get it. Eureka, and then everything falls into place, and it's like playing Tetris when you get the line finally.
How that SO polarity works, then your explanations are so good, dude.
Ah, thanks, man. Thanks. Yeah, that's how polarities work. So you have positive, negative. But that's with DC. So if you're working with electronics and you're working with cars and stuff, you're working with DC. You're not really working with AC. You may, well, I mean, until you're working in hybrids, EVs, that's DC to AC. Gotta know your theory for that stuff. And then if you're controlling AC with electronics by switching relays, that's that. But yeah, generally electronics and automotive is DC. And cars are 12 volts until you get into the computers, and then generally you got like 5 volts everywhere. There's the odd exception. Things can get complicated when you get into networks, because now you're talking about serial data and you're not talking about actual like voltages. You're not reading voltages, you're just checking to see if data is being transferred. But that's, yeah, maybe a can of worms, not for this evening. What amazes me though is because, like, so when I talk about cars, I'm generally talking with people, like colleagues in the trade. So I kind of take for granted that people just don't know the stuff that I know. You know what I mean? Like, I forget that people don't know this stuff. And I think a lot of technicians and stuff fall into that as well. And then you grow less patient with people because you're like, come on, man, you should know this. But people are just kind of oblivious to some things. They don't know. Funny conundrums that we find ourselves in. Like I often think about that now, and I think about how doctors might think about the way we operate. So like doctors know more about the human anatomy than we do. We lay people. So like, why would you do that? You're ruining the thing. Well, I didn't know, Doc. Sorry. But then again, it was only like, what, 40 years ago that 4 out of 5 doctors recommend Camel cigarettes? So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. LEDs are cool though. So LEDs have kind of ramped up in the market in the past while, because they've had some advancements in the technology. So the ability to make much brighter LEDs. Like previously, LEDs were kind of just in the space of like, you remember like old school like VCRs and stuff? They would just have a little flashing light. That was like the gist of LEDs. Like LEDs were just like kind of little warning lights and stuff. They weren't very bright. Yes, they were inexpensive and didn't consume a lot, but they didn't serve much more function like in a practical way, right? For everyday consumer items. And then like, because like even bicycle lamps, you think about it, like light bulbs in flashlights and stuff, bicycle lamps, they were incandescent until like literally not that long ago. I can't even imagine a world where we use incandescent lights for stuff anymore. You know what I mean? Especially like for things where you need a battery to light it. Like, geez, incandescent is so inefficient. You're burning through batteries. And then obviously there was the advancement in battery technology, so lithium was a big leg up from where we used to be with nickel metal hydride. Nickel metal hydride was good. Like NiCad for short, right? But yeah, NiCads were like the top dog because the other alkaline...
They really haven't. They seem pretty cheap too for LEDs.
They are so cheap anymore. Like, it's ridiculous how cheap they are. And this is why, like, you see in the automotive space, so many, like, light manufacturers have just popped out of nowhere. Like, they're just, like, boom. Just out of nowhere, you've got just countless, light bar and all these manufacturers. Like, yo, dog, I heard you like light bars. So I put a light bar on your light bar, so you can light bar while you're light bar. That's my favorite meme. But, yeah, LEDs, they've just become so cheap. I mean, they're still like, if you want like really intensely powerful ones, they still come at a cost, right? But like, if you're gonna play the game of like, okay, I need X amount of lumens to light this whatever, and it needs to be portable, needs to be potable, I guess is the term for like. Anyway, yeah, it needs to fit these certain criteria. And like, so for work lights, for example, they used why am I drawing a blank on the stuff in it? It's not hydrogen. It's oh, why am I drawing a blank? The H bulbs, H something. Oh, I'm totally brain farting on the chemical that they use in those. But yeah, super high energy consumption bulbs, right? So they use like X amount, like 500 watt bulbs, crazy heat produced from them. And they would burn out. And LEDs, they just virtually don't burn out. They produce way less heat per lumen. Than incandescent or why am I blanking on the type of bulb? Oh, it was such a brain fart moment.
How about light kids? Are those the same concept as LEDs functionality-wise?
Like what kind of battery? What? Oh, HIDs. Okay, HIDs are interesting because they work on the principle of an arc. So it's similar to like a sodium bulb. If you're familiar, well, you're probably not familiar with the sodium bulbs. So like street lights and stuff are made with sodium bulbs. And they call them sodium bulbs because there's like a sodium gas inside. And the HID has like another type of gas inside of them. But they're, instead of a filament, like a incandescent bulb, there's 2 electrodes. So there's electrodes and then a space in between, and then it's encased in glass with a particular gas inside, right? And because of that environment, if you give it a really, really high amount of voltage, an arc will bridge that gap, right? Like lightning in a bottle. Like it's like lightning in a bottle. And that arc is what's actually giving off the light. And the gas is what's helping the material from not oxidizing and burning up. So the arc can occur and not burn out the filament or the electrodes, because they're not actually a filament at that point. And that's why they're so intensely bright, those HIDs. But they have shelf life on them too, and if you notice after time, they'll start to change color. They go from like a really intense like light blue arc, and then eventually they start turning into like this dull orangey color. Oh no. No. That's not ideal. What happened there? It's like I lost a leg. Did I lose the whole leg? That's the question. So yeah, eventually they become dull. Oh, see, the leg was bent. Ah. Yeah, watch for that. That would have been a dead key right there. The leg wasn't even sticking out. Let's get that solder out of there. Where was that? No, I need you to heat up more than that. There we go. But yeah, that's the principle for HID bulbs. And typically with the HIDs, so like your standard like a halogen.
They're like illegally bright. I don't even think you can have them in your car.
They're illegally bright. There's regulation actually. There depends on where you're from, But yeah, there's regulation on what you are allowed to have. And some cars are built with them, like a lot of Mercedes and BMWs and stuff have them. The interesting thing about those ones is they have this weird focus beam, so they're way back in the lens, in the bezel. So you have your standard halogen, which I remembered the word for, halogen. I don't know why I drew a blank on that. That's so commonplace. But yeah, you have your standard halogen that actually has 2 filaments in it. So it'll have 2 filaments in your standard bulb. I mean, there are exceptions, and people could get in the comments and be like, you know, I got a Subaru and it doesn't have that. It's got separate. Okay. Rule of thumb, generally the strategy is 2 filaments. And the way it works is the one filament lights up and it reflects off of a certain portion of the lens inside the bezel. And it'll shine at a particular angle. And then the other filament will light up and it'll be brighter, but it'll also reflect off of different parts of the lens. And then that might aim more upward. And that's your brights and your high beams, low beams. Unless you have 2 bulbs, whatever. Those cars, they're not even part of this example. But that being said, so you have your HIDs, but they just have an arc, and it would be super expensive to make a second one to have just your high beams, and they take forever to warm up too. You gotta remember, you can't just turn them on and off. They turn them off, and then you turn them back on, and they gotta cool down and then warm up. They got these hot-cold cycles. So the strategy there is inside the lens there's a shutter. And it actually, like, it's a mechanical shutter that closes lower for your low beams, and then it lifts up for your high beams. It just exposes more of the iris to the bulb. You get more visibility. It's funny, but yeah, that's the strategy for a lot of those ones. But yeah, they're really expensive to change. You get a burnt out light, and yeah, cost you an arm and a leg for just a burnt out headlight. The joys of owning a schmarmy hoity-toity vehicle. So I have a good friend of mine, and he works in an industry where it's beneficial to have a hoity-toity car. So it just looks good for his clientele for business. So he drives around this Audi. It's a really nice one, right? But like every Audi, at one point the niceness wears off and parts break. And when parts break on an Audi, they're a lot more expensive. Now, if you're in Europe or whatever, it's probably a different story, and they're just pretty more commonplace. But over here, we get just more of the high-end models. That's what people are after. And boy, does it cost a lot of money to fix them. So, my friend, he keeps messaging me with, "Oh my God, this broke, and you know how much they want this? Is that normal? Is that a normal price for this repair?" Oh yeah. Yeah, parts are up there. It's not cheap. To the point where he kept saying this, like, holy cow, this car keeps busting. And I said, hey, next time you gotta get a hoity-toity car, you know, keeping up with the Joneses, why don't you get a Lexus? Because then at least underneath all of that, it's a Toyota. When you take the fancy pants off, you're still driving a Toyota. That's the nice thing about the Lexus. You can have your fancy pants and And relax too. Oh goodness. Oh, this feels so good. Can't complain about that. Good God. So if I was to put out there to say, hey, what kind of videos do you want to see me put out? What kind of videos would you want to see? I'm curious. Because I have a few ideas of stuff that I'd like to work on. I want to do some like commentary about stuff. I was thinking about doing a video about etiquette of going to an auto garage for like the layperson. Like the do's and don'ts essentially of going to a mechanic. I thought that would be a funny video to lay out and just do it as like a talking points kind of video. But I'm also like, cause when I was doing Maximum Underdrive, like I really enjoyed doing all the layouts and all that stuff. Like all this stuff that I've put together for the stream, this all just took a few minutes. I've been actually just spending a lot of time with family and having a good time since the other stream was over. But I would like to get into making some like sketch comedy and stuff like that, like that kind of things. And I know Rose wants to do some stuff, and I thought it'd just be kind of fun. But yeah, I'm just kind of tossing ideas out there for all kinds of stuff. I know I'll probably put some videos together when lockdown opens up and we're able to go back to Japan. That'll be fun. Because there's a lot of people that are really curious.
These live streams are pretty fire, but that idea you mentioned sounds cool and commentaries will work good too.
Nice. Nice. I'm glad to hear that. Because like, here's my strategy. Like, I'm really just about having fun with this. Like, content creation for me is fun. I like these chill streams. That's a lot of fun. But I actually like putting stuff together and making a thing. I just don't want to stress myself out about it. I like to just do it kind of more casually and more in a fun way and less chasing the audience and more just chasing a laugh. More like, you know what I mean? Like if I think of a funny thing, maybe put a skit together. And then the odd occasion where I'm like, oh, I wonder if this person would be free to do this skit with me, kind of thing. Like Chris, for example, or Ruth, Rompus. Yeah, I say Chris, ruthless by nature. The skits are fun to do. Like when I did Paps Boys Roadhouse, that was my first YouTube channel. And when I put that channel together, I was working on a Jeep Cherokee, and that was my project at the time, but that wasn't the passion. The passion was doing the scripting and doing the funny bits and the intros and outros and stuff. That's what I wanted to be doing. Like the recording working on the Jeep ended up becoming so tedious and cumbersome and a headache. But yeah, I wanted to make a show, and the show was the fun part. Wow, you can be at this for a long time to get it done. So what kind of content do you most consume? Are you more of a live stream viewer, or do you watch your favorite content creators when they go live, and then for the most part video consumption, or yeah, everybody's so different. I've got some funny habits. Like I'll sit down and I'll be like, I am not watching that 40-minute video that's recommended to me. It looks really interesting, but I am not going to watch it because I just don't have time for that. And then I'll proceed to sit down and watch like 25 10-minute videos. I don't know why I do it. Stop for a minute to watch shorts. End up sitting there for an hour and a half. I was just gonna watch a couple of shorts. Jeez, time just goes by. But I guess that's the ultimate goal of these websites, right?
It all kinda depends. I dig live streams, they're fun to watch to burn some time when you're bored, but I dig random videos, all kinda depends it s.
Yeah, I can see you there. Like I'm a bit the same. If the live stream's interesting enough, hang out. Like I can see on the live view that, you know, some people are dipping in and out, and you know, like live streams, they might be interesting for a bit. So people come in, stop by, say hey. Some people stay for the whole thing, hang out, go for the long haul. Interesting. I have some friends that live stream. I really like them, but when they live stream, it'll just be the same conversation as the last live stream. So I'll pop in, say hi, hang out for a bit, take off, pop in next time I see him live again. But then other live streams, like, whoa, this is different. What are you doing? You know? And then, yeah, video content is just, wow, it's all over the place. All over the place. Man, this is looking good so far. I'm getting excited to type on these keys at work. Oh, it's just going to be such a blissful experience. Ooh, yeah. I gotta fix this posture when I'm working on stuff. I need to send Chris that message real quick. Just pardon me. I didn't know if he was gonna pop in or pop by for a beer. Because I'm into having a beer tonight. I'm in a having a beer mood. I mean, I have been having this beer since I started. How long have I been going now? Since 9. So, wow. Okay. 2 hours on one beer. That's why it's kind of getting warm. It's easy to do that, though, when you're busy with the thing. Now, this I find interesting, is there is content creators that are completely in the custom keyboard space. Now, I know niches exist, but like, do you think there's enough content around customizing keyboards to like sustain several channels? Like there are quite a few. And I follow a few of them and they're nice people. But like, I think all of them are running out of content. They're running out of stuff to talk about and do. I think that's the inevitability of genres, and I think I just bent that tab. I really feel like I just bent that tab. I did not! Wow. It just felt like it. You know, you start with a genre and you stick with that because, oh, this gets clicks, and you're like, well, I'm sick of it, so I try something else, and then that doesn't get as many clicks as you got on your whatever niche market genre normally gets. And then that gets you to not want to branch away from that one little thing, that one little niche. I think I bent a tab on that one too. I didn't. Why am I ghosting myself here with bent tabs? I think it's because that one tab bent. Now I'm just paranoid that every tab's bending. But yeah, it's just like, it's like a spiral, or it's not really a spiral, it's just a self-perpetuated sort of phenomenon where you make a particular kind of content that gets, if it gets attention, and then you try to branch away from it and it doesn't get as much attention, so you think, oh, I can't do anything else. You just kind of gotta get used to not as many eyes on you for that other thing. I think. Just be happy with that. That's kind of where I'm at. Of course, it would be amazing if lots of people wanted to watch what I do. That, of course, that would be amazing. But the reality of the situation is, I don't want to stress myself out about it. So I'm just gonna not care so much. And then I'm just gonna do things I want to do. And be happy for anybody who wants to come along for the ride. You know what I mean? So obviously, thank you. Thank you for hanging out tonight. It's good fun. It's good fun. And it's just about, yeah, just about enjoying it. Enjoy what you do. Because, yeah, if you can't enjoy it, ugh. And I've been there. Been there, not enjoying it. Or when you're doing it And you're like, I'd rather be doing something different right now. That's another one. That ghost will haunt you. Oh, I wish I could. Oh, I'm not getting a very clean surface on this thing. Thing's not cleaning it very well. Trying to tin the tip of the soldering iron. So tinning the tip is when you put a little bit of solder on the tip of the iron, and then that creates a better heat transfer. But it's not taking very well on this. May just need to let it spend a little more time warming up, but so it's melting on the tip, but it's not tinning the tip. It's not wetting it. It's got me a little concerned. There we go. That's a little better. Am I just running out of fuel? Is that what's going on? Maybe the case. Just go fill us back up. Leave you briefly. In body only. I got my wireless headset, so we're good. This refill in a more ventilated area. Well, that should be a reminder for me to buy more fuel. Whoa. It's making some noise. Hold on a second there. That was just full bore. Just full bore in it. We're good, we're good. Oh, I hope I don't have to bust out my other soldering iron just to finish this. Oh, that'd be brutal. Oh, I might need to let it warm up again. Maybe. Definitely a lot hotter already. I'm not liking the behavior of this thing. Just not clean. Come on. There we are. Yes. Oh my God. This week was rough. A really rough week. Just for, you know, jobs coming in that just went sideways. Normally, like, you'll see jobs that go sideways, but that many in a row, ugh. That was brutal. Wrong parts over and over again. And parts that are not just at the part shop, like parts that are a month out. Ugh. That's rough. I think that just judging by the time might be more of a, let's get the main pad done for this stream, because the numpad is like maybe stretching it time-wise. But hey, this is good fun. Really liking just the relax, chill lo-fi, soldering some PCBs together. Some ideas that I was thinking of. So I was looking at some of these electronic projects that are available, and I really wanted to buy a pocket oscilloscope. Like, I've been wanting to buy one for a while just to have at work for diagnostic purposes and stuff. And
ASMR soldering keyboard streams.
yeah, my man. That's what we're talking about. It is kind of like ASMR. I'm just talking all quiet. What's up, Cracker? How you doing, man? But yeah, I wanted to get they have these miniature pocket oscilloscopes. It's like a single channel, just like a one channel oscilloscope. If you don't know what an oscilloscope is, it's that thing where you can see waves. Like, kind of like the electronic version of like watching somebody's heartbeat at the hospital, you know what I mean? Little blips. But it's really handy for diagnosing problems with cars. So oscilloscopes up until this point were either like giant analog machines or expensive software on a computer with like hardware that plugs in, like expensive peripheries that go together with this unit, right? And programming software. And yeah, now you can just get a pocket oscilloscope. They have like 1-channel, 2-channel ones. I think they have more channel ones, but like, do you really need that? I just like a little 1-channel. And by 1-channel, it just means like a wire that you can attach, and you only need to monitor the one thing at the one time. But, so they have these little electronic projects that you can build your own mini digital oscilloscope. I'm like, well, hell, why don't I just do that? Save a couple of bucks. Solder the thing together. That seems pretty fun. Seems like a fun thing. And then I was like, well, can I get a frequency generator so I can like at least test it? They have those kits too. And they're like really cheap. So you can get like a digital oscilloscope for like 45 bucks. Woo! I'll take that. Nice. So I'm good with that bit so far. So, looking at it now, we've got the custom cherry reds. Custom cherry reds with the 72 weight slow curve springs lubricated on the face with a cherry blue on top for the caps lock. Now, I'm going to come in,
Why not cherry blues?
Why not cherry blues? I'm not a fan of cherry blues. I don't like the feel and the clickiness of them. I find that cherry blues are very inconsistent. And once you've switched to lubricated switches, you'll never want to go back to non-lubricated switches. And cherry blues cannot be lubricated.
How about blueberry reds?
Blueberry reds. Depends on the configuration. Or is that a reference to something else? But you can't lubricate cherry blues because of the click mechanism inside. If you lubricate it, it doesn't click anymore. Now that sounds like, oh cool, just make it so they don't click anymore. Yeah, but it makes them like wildly inconsistent. Wildly. So the idea here is I like consistent key switches, and I've gotten over the tactile bump and the click. So I'm very happy with this. And I just happen to have these switches that I took out of the other keyboard, and then I rebuilt these switches. So these were the donors to go into. Otherwise, it's not really a big risk project, right? This is just a keyboard that I have at work that I use all the time. So it's, in a sense, really good practice for this kind of mod and see how well it works. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the hobby, honestly. Really having a good time with the hobby. But I think I'm fatigued. I'm fatigued today on, let me get to the good mic here. I think I'm fatigued on keyboards for today and for soldering. I'm gonna unplug that. I don't need that plugged in anymore. So I think I'm gonna call that one good. I'm gonna give it a rest and finish off the stream. I can't thank you guys enough for coming out and hanging out. It's always a good time. I really enjoy this. I'm having a great time, and I think maybe Friday nights are my night to do a live stream and hang out. Of course, Cracker in the chat saying, but Friday nights could be an EDF night. You know what? That doesn't mean it doesn't have to be a stream EDF night. So maybe we could do that too. I could get down with that. So hey, thanks for turning out. We'll see you pretty soon. Make sure that bell's rung so you'll find out when. Good night, everybody.